Coming up on The Cut.
U.S. gas prices continue to rise, but lawmakers say a decrease is coming soon.
The Arizona Heat has put a halt on MLB spring training in the Valley.
And this notorious Texan beaver makes his debut right here in Arizona.
All this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Cut. I'm Sydney Voorhees.
And I'm Ryan Moffitt.
First, we have updates on the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. The death toll in the Middle East is continuing to rise since the war started 2 weeks ago. The human rights activist news agency said on Monday that 1,300 civilians, including at least 206 children, 1,122 military personnel, and 613 more people who have not been identified as civilian or military, have been killed in Iran since the strikes began. Also, at least 886 people, including 111 children, have been killed in Lebanon since Israel began attacking the country on March 2nd, according to the Lebanese Health Ministry on Monday. At least 15 Israelis and 13 U.S. service members have died as well, and at least a dozen people from other countries in the Middle East have perished. Despite the carnage, White House officials said on Monday that Trump has refused to restart Iran talks. Quote, "The president has said he is willing to talk, but not at this time, as he wants to see Operation Epic Fury continue unabated," one of the officials said. They said that part of the reason Trump is not currently interested in negotiating is because the administration is not sure that Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is, quote, actually in charge. Trump told reporters on Monday that he does not know if Khamenei, who has not made a public appearance since the announcement of his appointment, is even alive. Although diplomatic talks have not started yet, President Trump told reporters at the Oval Office that the war will not go on much longer. He said, quote, "We're going to have a much safer world when this is wrapped up. It'll be wrapped up soon." However, the EU has made its stance on the war clear. They want no part of it. This comes after Trump asked the U.S.'s European allies to expand their naval operations to help secure the Strait of Hormuz waterway after Iran effectively closed it. Quote, "Europe has no interest in an open-ended war," Kaja Kallas, the EU's top diplomat, said on Monday. "We will be sure to update you as the conflict continues to develop."
Americans are feeling the impact of the war in Iran through the increase of gas prices in the states. But according to the government, prices will drop soon. Before the war began, the average gas price in America was sitting at $2.94. And just one day after the conflict began, prices rose to an average of $3.70. When talking with NBC News, President Trump dismissed concerns about the rising prices. Quote, "I think they'll go lower than they were before, and I had them at record lows," end quote. The U.S. tries to take control of the situation through bombing strikes. Iran responded that if their oil infrastructure is hit, they will retaliate with attacks on American oil infrastructure. Many countries want the flow of oil from Iran to open back up through the Hormuz Strait, but an uncertain end date to the war makes the resume of oil trade uncertain. The U.S.'s primary focus on military efforts comes before opening the strait back up. The mixed messages from the president and his administration, the war and high gas prices could last longer than people hoped. Their goal is to restore gas prices by early summer for travel season.
Extreme heat has stalled spring training. Cut reporter Nicole Lehendro has how this may affect ballpark goers. Nicole?
Thank you, Sydney. If you're planning on going to a spring training game this weekend, the game may have been pushed back, Arizona's Family reported on Friday. It's heating up in the Valley, and adjustments are being made to support the health and safety of fans and players at spring training games. Many day games are being pushed back to the evening because of unexpected extreme heat. Cactus League Executive Director Bridget Binsbacher said, quote, "Cactus League ballparks are showing their flexibility in moving some day games to the evening when the temperatures are expected to be much cooler. As of Monday, 11 games have been moved. The Friday games being played later include the Giants versus the Rangers, the Cubs versus the Athletics, and the Reds versus the Cubs, among others. The Saturday games that are pushed back include the White Sox versus the Reds, the Cubs versus the Mariners, and the Athletics versus the Dodgers. Officials say the MLB Ballpark app should update with the new time automatically and that no ticket exchanges are needed. They are also urging fans to hydrate before the games and to drink water while they are at the stadium. Fans should also wear sunscreen and hats and take breaks in shaded areas. As of Wednesday, the Valley is hitting record temperatures this weekend with a high of 105 on Saturday and 102 on Sunday. For the full list of game times, you can visit cactusleague.com. For the Cut Network, I'm Nicole Lehendro.
Thanks, Nicole. We'll keep you updated on continuously changing weather in Arizona. Pope Leo XIV demanded a ceasefire in Iran on Sunday. During the traditional Sunday blessing at the end of the noon Angelus prayer at the Vatican, Leo addressed the leaders who launched the war in the Middle East. He said, quote, "On behalf of the Christians of the Middle East and all women and men of goodwill, I appeal to those responsible for this conflict. Ceasefires so that avenues for dialogue may be reopened. Violence can never lead to justice, stability, and peace that the people are waiting for." Leo did not cite the United States or Israel by name, but he mentioned the attacks that targeted a school. This was in reference to the missile strike on an all-girls elementary school in Iran that killed over 165 people, many of them children. The Vatican called out the carnage of the Minab school strike by running an aerial photo of the mass grave being dug for the child victims on the front page of its newspaper on March 6th, under the headline, quote, "The Face of War." Leo said he was close to the families of those killed in the attacks on schools, hospitals, and residential centers. He also expressed concern for the war in Lebanon, where aid groups are warning of a humanitarian crisis. The Christian communities in Lebanon are of particular concern to the Vatican, since they represent a minority within a largely Muslim region. Pope Leo has kept his statements indirect and apolitical, keeping in line with the Vatican's tradition of neutrality. However, some of his staff have made their disapproval of the war known. Cardinal Robert McElroy, the Archbishop of Washington, said the war was morally unjustifiable, and the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, rejected the U.S.'s claim that the war is preventative. However, Parolin said the Holy See will keep dialogue open and are willing to speak to the Americans and Israelis about solutions when necessary.
The 2026 F1 season has started with controversies on and off the track. Cut reporter Abby Cervenak has everything you need to know about this season. Abby?
Thank you, Ryan. The third race of the 2026 F1 season kicks off in Japan on Friday, March 27th. This past Saturday, Formula One and the FIA announced the cancellation of the Grand Prix races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia in April due to safety concerns of the Iran war. This season's packed schedule leaves no room for possible rescheduled races, which will result in missing points for the drivers and teams. Last weekend, the China Grand Prix was held with the Mercedes team and its drivers, Kimi Antonelli and George Russell, coming out on top. Antonelli earned his first F1 victory with current teammate Russell in P2 and former Mercedes driver Hamilton in P3 for the podium. The latest Constructors champion, McLaren, and its drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, did not start the race due to electrical issues. The current team standings in order include Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Haas, Red Bull, Racing Bulls, Alpine, Audi, Williams, Cadillac, and Aston Martin. Will the points left up to grab make this a close race, or will it help Mercedes rise? For the Cut Network, I'm Abby Cervenak. See you at the paddock.
Thank you, Abby. I cannot wait to see what happens as the season progresses. The famous gas station chain Buc-ee's is set to open its first Arizona location in Goodyear this upcoming summer. June 22nd of this year will be the grand opening of a 74,000 square foot travel center with 120 fueling stations. With the opening date approaching, Buc-ee's posted 12 job positions open to applications. The positions include cashier, grocery associates, and multiple manager positions. Wages will begin at $18 for these positions. We'll keep you updated as the grand opening approaches and excitement in Arizona builds for the mecca of gas stations.
Arizonans celebrated St. Patrick's Day this past Tuesday. Cut reporter Andy Ruiz has how many chose to spend the day.
St. Patrick's Day, a time for lots of fun, lots of green, and lots of beer.
I just love being with my family and like being able to wear green and just like the whole vibe of like being around like all my Irish family.
Bars across the valley prepped and opened their doors to seas of green for their annual St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
There's a lot of Irish that came to America, and they brought their culture and all that stuff, and they want to be here and have fun and celebrate, and we'll celebrate with them because that's what they love to do, and we love having them here.
Besides the drinking, the extravagant U.S. holiday is a sign of community and culture.
Love it because I just get to like show like who I am and just like show my culture and just like get to wear all the green and all that stuff.
So, if you're brave enough for the infamous green beer, or just here for the party, today is your lucky day. For Cronkite News, I'm Andrea Rees reporting.
Thank you, Andy. What an exciting event. This past week in entertainment has had one of the most prestigious events. Cut Entertainment anchor Angel Garcia has what happened. Angel?
Thanks, Sydney. Hello and welcome to the entertainment news segment on The Cut. Hope you had your fun on the beaches over the break because we have awards to cover. The 98th annual Oscars took place this past Sunday. Hosted by Conan O'Brien, the ceremony featured appearances from a variety of different celebrities. Kicking off the party was a creation of the chase scene from the film Weapons, where Conan O'Brien dressed as Aunt Gladys. Soon after, Amy Madigan won Supporting Actress for her role as Aunt Gladys in Weapons. Some of the biggest highlights were the worldwide phenomenon known as K-pop Demon Hunters winning Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. Alongside this was F1 winning Best Sound, Avatar Fire and Ash winning Best Visual Effects, and one battle after another winning Best Picture, Director, Supporting Actor, Adapted Screenplay, Film Editing, and Best Casting. However, the awards didn't come without its controversies, following Timothée Chalamet's heated take on opera and ballet, saying, quote, "No one cares," end quote, about the art forms. The film Marty Supreme took 0 awards home, despite having 9 nominations. But wait, there's more. Miles Canton came out with the cast of Sinners to perform the bloodthirsty song, I Lied to You. Joining them was legendary ballet dancer Misty Copeland, proving that although ballet may not be the most popular, it certainly deserves its spot in art. Finally, Ryan Coogler's Sinners earned a record 16 nominations, taking home 4 awards. These awards include Original Score, Original Screenplay, and Autumn Duard Archipel, making history being the first woman and first woman of color to ever win an Oscar for cinematography. Oh wait, did I forget to mention that Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor in a Leading Role? This marks his first ever Oscar award for his role in Sinners. Woo! Give him hell, Smokestack Twins! In celebration of his win, Michael B. Jordan decided some In-N-Out was the way to go. In recent news, the latest official trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day officially dropped, with appearances from John Bernthal as the Punisher and Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Tom Holland returns back as the Web-Slinger. As fans alike dissect every frame of the trailer, we can all rest assured that this long-awaited film will hit theaters July 21st. That's all the entertainment I have for you this week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Angel Garcia, and this is The Cut Entertainment.
Thanks, Angel. Now on to Cut Sports anchor Cindy Craven, who has everything that happened in sports this weekend. Cindy?
Thank you, Sydney, and welcome back to another sports recap here on the Cut Network. March Madness is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, so let's take a look at where teams ended up heading into the first round of games. The men's first 4 games took place Tuesday and Wednesday, which gave 8 teams one final chance to enter into the bracket. On Tuesday, Howard University was the first of these teams to take advantage of this opportunity, with their 86-83 victory over UMBC. Texas followed closely behind and found their way into the 11th seed spot with their 68-66 win over North Carolina State. The women's first 4 were not far behind, with those games taking place Wednesday and Thursday. After a devastating loss to West Virginia at the Big 12 Championships in Kansas City, Arizona State women's basketball thought their season was over. But the Sun Devils kept their heads high. Head coach Molly Miller said in an interview, quote, "I learned that culture wins. It's won everywhere I've been," end quote. Now, that same culture that Miller worked to create earned ASU women's basketball a spot in the play-in round. But basketball isn't the only thing that has people talking. In the midst of trading season, the NFL has many fans locked in to see where some of their favorite players will go. Former quarterback for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, is setting up for a year in Minnesota with the Vikings. Murray has played in Arizona for all 7 years of his professional career, since he was chosen #1 overall by the Cardinals in the 2019 NFL Draft. Speaking of quarterbacks on the move, NFL Network reported on Monday that Justin Fields was traded to the Chiefs in exchange for a 2027 6th-round pick for the Jets. Looks like a lot of teams are looking ahead and planning a future for their team to succeed. That's about all I have for you here. Thanks for joining me on another sports recap. For the Cut Network, I'm Cindy Craven.
Thanks, Cindy. Basketball and football are not the only highly competitive sports that have happened recently. About 24 couples put their relationships to the test this weekend on a grassy hill in southern England. Wives and girlfriends hung onto their partners for dear life as they were carried up and down the hillside during the annual UK wife carrying race. On Sunday, Timu Tuvinen and Jada Liinanen from Finland took first place after completing the course in 1 minute and 45 seconds. What was their prize, you might ask? A barrel of local ale. This awkward race in Dorking, Surrey is said to be inspired by a 19th century Finnish legend about a gang that pillaged villages and stole the women. These days, the event is much more lighthearted. Racers are encouraged to wear silly costumes, and then they can carry anyone they want that is over 18 years old and 110 pounds. Those underweight are required to wear a rucksack filled with flour or water to bring them to the minimum weight. Couples choose their carrying technique, though most opted for the traditional Estonian hold, where the wife hangs upside down on the partner's back with their legs crossed in front of his face. The runners, while holding their wives, had to dodge and weave obstacles like hay bales and buckets of water being thrown at them for 416 yards. The fastest British couple, Edward Nash and Catherine Knight, who came just 4 seconds behind the winners, will represent the UK at the World Wife Carrying Championships in Finland this July. Now, Ryan, if you had to carry any female celebrity for 416 yards, who would it be?
Easiest answer in my life, Dua Lipa. And we're winning it too. I will be so motivated by having Dua Lipa as my partner that I have to win. And if I don't, well, I'm going to live a life of shame.
Wow. I hope Callum Turner will be okay with that.
Probably.
That's all we have this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network. I'm Sydney.
I'm Ryan.
Have a nice night.